Welcome back to the Overthinking Podcast, the show where we unpack all the chaos in your brain and help you make actual sense of it.
And today we're talking about something that every relationship, romantic, familial, friendship, even work, eventually runs into crucial conversations. And you know the ones, the heart racing, gut wrenching, do I bring this up or do I let it slide moments.
And the truth is, avoiding them usually makes things worse. So we're diving into when you know you need one, how to prep, how to have it, and how to reconnect afterwards.
I just think it's good. I think all the listeners should know that we really try hard to think of topics that people really struggle with. And, I feel like crucial conversations, especially right now, when there's so much going on and everyone's patience is thin and the world feels like it's ending, this is a great time to learn how to have those conversations and set boundaries.
Yeah. Yeah, you're just a little more on edge with everything in the world, and then it makes you a little edgy and cranky to people that you love and care about. So, being able to have hard conversations with those people is necessary. And you don't have to be good at it, you just have to try to be better. But
But
first,
first, wow.
but first, I wanted to thank our listeners because we just reached a new milestone of 2,500 new streams and downloads, which is so freaking cool.
Wow. It's so crazy to think of how many times people have heard us talk.
I mean, I have to listen to myself daily, but thank you for making us a part of your week.
Yeah, your week, whether it's a commute, a hot girl walk, maybe it's you're sending it to your friends and saying that you learned so much. We really appreciate it. We know you got our back, so thank you.
And we've got yours because our ultimate goal is to get the right fitness and health information into every woman's hand because she deserves it. You deserve not to be fed bullshit marketing nonsense that does not help you on your journey. So continue to share. Thank you so much.
Yay. Okay, and so we're bringing it back to the our
This,
favorite little game called This or That. I
this.
lost my voice and it's never gonna come back. Pumpkin spice latte or a peppermint latte.
This is a polarizing one, and I am not a pumpkin girl. Like, I know people geek out over the pumpkin spice flavors that Trader Joe's has, and like, I totally love fall. Like, I'm totally about that. I just don't like that flavor. I don't know why. So I'm team peppermint.
Yeah, I feel like it's polarizing because there's people like you who are just like not into pumpkin, and then the people who are like, "This is the best thing ever,"
Yes.
especially like us millennials, like with the whole Starbucks craze. But I feel like for me, it's like anything other than a pumpkin spice latte. Like I don't
Yeah.
necessarily love peppermint, but like a maple something
Mm,
like that could really get me going.
yeah. Yeah.
So I guess I would say peppermint latte because I'm not really that much of a pumpkin girly either.
Yeah. I mean, in all fairness, I don't really drink lattes, but if I have to have a flavor, it would be the peppermint, and I think I've said this previously, I'm just a mint ice cream girl, like,
Yeah.
that's
Okay,
my
that's
weird
true.
thing about me, I just love mint ice cream.
She's just so minty fresh.
Yeah.
Okay, here's I've been really into pistachio, and I would say I'm a
Ooh,
pistachio slut these days, and
okay.
lucky for me because I feel like it's out there, out and about all the time now these days.
So, are you into that Dubai chocolate trend?
Yeah, remember when I Venmoed you $20 to go
Yes.
buy one because you thought it was ridiculous?
It is ridiculous, it's like
Okay,
$20.
but was it delicious?
It was delicious because it's like the second ingredient is milk fat.
Okay, well, first of all, $20 for a bar of chocolate does sound ridiculous, but most people would pay $20 for an espresso martini, and it's
That's
literally
so
like,
different.
is it different?
I mean, $20 for a martini is still absurd.
Totally absurd, but I feel like the what you're getting, like, the quantity of what you're getting and,
Yeah,
like, that big ol' filled chocolate bar, like, that thing lasts you a couple days. An espresso
that's
martini
true.
lasts me
That's
30
true.
seconds.
With that,
Yeah.
like, dense of flavor, you need just, like, one little square. But I did see at our Costco, they have the Dubai chocolate, like, mini ice cream bars. They're
Mhm.
300 calories for a mini.
Oh.
Oh my god.
Oh,
It's
that
she
is a
did.
great example of how, like, 300 calories could get you so far, but then, like, when you want that bite, sometimes you just gotta make it worth it.
Yep, yep. Well, let's get into our topic today. So
Let's do it.
we're gonna lead with some personal stories, and I would say, Bree, you're probably a better, like, navigator of conflict at times. Would you agree than I am?
Um, I would say that I have a lot of knowledge and, like, I nerd out about this kinda stuff,
So
you
it's the
know?
application that's hard?
Yeah, it's like, do what I do or do what I say, not as I do sometimes. I'll
Okay.
be honest about that. I'm
Yes.
not perfect, and but I'm learning, and I'm like and I think when you want to learn something, it shows that you're, on the right track, and so this part of the reason why I wanted to bring this up today is, like, new seasons of life and learning how to navigate tough conversations with new people and
Yeah.
new workplaces, and I just needed a refresher myself, so I thought this was a good topic for us
It's a
today.
reminder for us all. So
Yes.
I'll be real. I mean, I'm not the greatest in conflict. My tendency is to shut down, to avoid. One of my biggest faults is not speaking up. If something is on my mind, I have a tendency to let that resentment fester and build and feel like it's my responsibility to process everything by myself or ignore my feelings in order to keep the peace.
Yeah,
Ultimately, that, like, festers inside of you, and by the time I, do work up the courage to say something, it either comes out sharp and messy or worse in a time of conflict, right? Like, how many times have you could probably relate to this. How many times have you been, like, frustrated or you're rushing out the door and then you snap at your partner, right? Like,
totally. Oh
that
my gosh.
always happens.
And it is
And
interesting like, when you're rushing and, like, quick. It's like you
yes.
just don't have the regulation.
Yes. And so the message here is that silence feels safe in the moment, but it can cost you the relationship or the
Mhm.
connection or the potential connection long term.
I think that's a great point. And do you feel like when you bring up when is a time where you did bring up a tough conversation and felt like it was okay? Like, you navigated it well?
I mean, you and I have had a quote unquote hard ish conversation recently when we were
For
trying to
sure.
navigate, like, your schedule. And I I did approach it from a sense of calm in myself, and I don't remember exactly what I had said to you, but I was like, "Hey, I'm really bothered by this thing. Can we discuss later before the recording?" And you were like, "Absolutely." So,
Yep.
I'm proud of myself for that one.
Yeah, I was gonna say kudos to you. And you know what? Having hard conversations, especially with friends, that's so hard. Cause like
Yeah.
in romantic relationships, there's almost this level of expectation. Like you're gonna have tough conversations, you gotta talk things out, relationships are work, yada yada, right?
Yeah.
But it's like friendships are supposed to be like rainbows and butterflies and we're besties all the time. And that's just
Right.
not the case.
Right.
I mean, we're kind of in like a business together, but still it's like just in friendship mode. I think it's important that we have hard conversations with our friends, and I would say I'm a little bit of the opposite. Like, I don't think before I speak sometimes. I'll just be like, "This doesn't feel good, and I hate this, and I hate
Yeah.
you." Blah.
Yeah. Yeah. We can all
Instead of
relate to that.
right? And so I feel like my natural tendency is to be a more of a toddler and just kind of be like, "This feels hard. What's going on?" And
Yeah.
so those are the times where I'm like, I know that I need a pause. I know I need to regulate myself. And these things I consciously know. But like we were saying, like in high stress situations or, when just life stress is really high, which it has been for me for a while. I realize that how I approach things can come off as an attack sometimes. Or, um, even if what I'm saying is right and it's meant to be connecting and it's meant to like, shed light on something that we're probably both feeling, it's about the tact. And know that you can be right about an issue and still have the wrong delivery. And
Totally.
the delivery is so important. And for you and the other person, when we have these conversations, the reason why fear comes up is because they don't feel safe. And we really all want safety as human beings.
And the counterpart to the discussion wants to feel heard just like you want to
Yeah.
feel heard. So I think it's important to say, like, why this is important to have crucial conversations, and relationships take so much bandwidth. But the
Hmm.
alternative is what? Like, isolating? that's not a way to live life. Like, you want to foster deep connections with people.
Yeah, and I feel like relationships eat up this emotional space because we're basically doing a PhD in the other person's body language, right? Bidding for attention, how's their body language, what's their mood, what are their unspoken needs, how is their day to day? Like, and no one teaches us how to read other people's emotions. And we're at whatever, however you grew up, we all were doing this with our parents and then our teachers and then our friends. And so it's natural to do this with your partner. And especially when things are kind of tough or you're in a tough season with them or you're just in a tough season yourself, um, you're just like constantly looking for changes and things, and that is a lot of emotional energy.
Yeah. Do you ever experience this where, and I think this might be a girl thing, or at least like an emotional intelligence thing, where you like kind of tone policing, where you're like, is everything okay? Like, because someone's tone was off, or like, I feel like, especially in romantic relationships, you're like, you're not talking to me. Are we okay? Are we breaking up?
Yeah, or like, "We need to talk." It's like, "Oh, it's over.
Yeah.
Bury my dig my
I'll,
grave."
I'll pack my stuff. It's fine.
Yeah, planning my move out, and they're just like, "Is the dishwasher clean or dirty?"
Yeah. But instead, when these things feel off, it's a signal that a crucial conversation might be needed. So, how do we know when it's time to risk rocking the boat?
Mm. Well, that feeling of resentment, like when you're just like, like the sound of their breath just bothers you, they're chewing to drive you mad. You're
Yes.
probably too far gone at that point. But really, like when someone says something and it just makes you like, "Ooh, that is a big time," even if it's small, big, whatever. Maybe when you start keeping score, like you notice like you're doing more of the chores than they are, and you're just like tallying that in your head.
Mhm.
Um, or if you're just like rehearsing what you wish you could say if you had the balls or the ovaries to do so. So like if you're rehearsing in your head, I feel like all of those are signs that you're like it's probably a time to have a conversation.
Yeah, and
What
I
do you
think it's
think?
worth mentioning that, practicing and using a filter, like, I say this all the time, Seth and I talk about this, like, it's okay to, like, shit talk, right? Maybe not directly to the person that you want to shit talk to, use someone else, a third party, as like a filter, right? Like if I'm
Mhm.
so mad at something my husband did, I'm gonna go to my bestie or you, Brie, and be like, I need to vent about this for a second. And I'm gonna get all the like nasty things out of my head so that
Yeah.
when I do go to him, I'm not saying things that I don't mean. I've already got out the nasty junk. I want to approach with the respectful banter, right? So I can
Right.
come in regulated, respectful, willing, open, and you can't force someone else into your timetable. So if
Yeah.
I'm in this position, right, where I'm like banter filtering through you or to Steph and I feel regulated, then I can ask whoever it is, my husband or other person, "Hey, are you in a good place for a hard conversation? There's something that's been on my mind." And that alone can set the tone.
Yeah, totally. I think that's a really important piece to pull out is that you have to be it's like set and setting. It's like when you take mushrooms. It's like you're not
Totally.
just gonna do it when you're on a roller coaster. Like
Oh
you
my
gotta
god.
like, you gotta like set and setting it. And a
Can
tough
you imagine?
conversation is kind of like that, right? It's like there's a lot of pieces to it. There's honesty, there's a thrill, there's fear, there's so many things. So
Totally.
I think it's important to temperature check. And even before you ask for the hard conversation, we're already studying their tone. I love that you said tone policing. I've never heard that before. I love it.
Ooh, really?
Like, yeah, it's like if we're tone policing like their text throughout the day, da da da. And it's like you already know you got something to say. Like, hey, how's your day going? Like, do you have emotional bandwidth for a conversation? And that just
Right.
already makes it feel like you're on a team, you care about how they're feeling, you want them to feel safe. And again, like you said in the beginning, it's like we're working on it together. It's like already setting that up.
It's collaborative.
Yeah, and I think it's important to like do it. If you're gonna have a conversation, do it. Don't like lead into it. Hey, I was kind of thinking maybe. No, just get to the point. Don't keep them like on a hook and like or say something like we need to talk.
Yeah, I mean, you shared a podcast episode with me recently, and one of the speaker on there, Jefferson Fisher, said instead of going in hot, start with a collaborative phrase like, "Hey, I need your help on something. Can we talk later?" Which is so different from saying like, "We need to talk." Like, do you
Yeah.
remember in high school sending those texts or getting those texts, and you're like, "Oh, well, now I'm not going to think about anything else."
Right. Right.
Like, that's just rude. It almost feels like the initiation of war.
Yeah. And then of course you just feel like absolute shit the whole day. And then your self-esteem is low, you're in this negative narrative, and the whole day you're just in this negative headspace and you go into the conversation in a negative headspace.
Yeah.
It doesn't set anybody up for success.
Right, and you're immediately on defense when if someone does say, "We need to talk," like, you're immediately going to be like, "Alright, I'm ready. What are we fighting about?"
Exactly.
So
So
instead, I think that it helps to, like, prep them, right? Like, if you've said, "I need your help, can we talk later?" So now it's time to get to that conversation. You can say something like, say what you're feeling. Like, "I'm not good at talking about my feelings, and this is something that I too need to practice."
yeah.
Saying like, "This is gonna be tough for me to bring up," or "I feel nervous.
Yeah.
I'm really struggling to get this out, but I need you to love me through it. Is that something
Yes.
that we can do?" Like, I don't know, I just feel, like, silly.
Let's give the people what they want, which is this is your one liner if you need to have a tough conversation and you don't know what to say. So the best thing, like we said, temperature check, but also say, I'd like to have a conversation about what you said last Thursday. At the end of this conversation, I want to walk away with a better understanding
Yes.
or more clarity of the level of commitment we're at, or a better understanding of that this won't happen again. So, and this is his kind of framework, and I love it because it's already like being clear about how you want to leave the conversation together. So it takes away the fear that you're like, oh, you're going to break up with me, unless you are breaking up with someone, and that's a different conversation.
Yeah.
But, you know, but I think it's important that you're like, at the, I want to work through this with you, and this is how I want to leave together.
Yes. I love the, like, goal, right? Like, you're establishing these frames of what you expect of the conversation.
Hmm.
And you're also approaching it from this collaborative format, right? Like, "Hey, I want to work on this thing with you. I wanna understand your perspective. I wanna do this with you," instead of, "I feel like this because you did that." So,
Right.
maybe that's a good segue in things like not to say.
Yeah, I was gonna ask you, like, what are some things not to say
Yeah.
in a tough
I mean,
conversation?
nobody likes to hear, "I'm sorry you feel that way."
Totally.
That's not an apology. Let's
No.
make that clear. Or, like, honestly, anytime you say "you," notice that and reframe. It's not about what they did, it's about what you feel, you in your body, you in your mind. So maybe don't say, "Why did you do that thing?" Flip it and say, "Can you help me understand your perspective on this?"
Right. If you
Or
can make the whole conversation about you, like, "I feel this way, I felt here, this was uncomfortable for me." All you're doing in this all you're responsible for in general, but especially in this conversation, is how you feel and getting that out to them, helping them understand your perspective and what things felt like for you. And that's what they should be doing too, is give me your story. I'm going to give you mine. Let's figure it out.
yes.
So, sorry, tangent there. Whoa.
I mean, you definitely don't wanna say, "I'm sorry you feel that way." So you
Yeah.
could say, like, "I wanna take accountability for my part in how you felt. Can you describe that feeling for me?" Um, my husband likes to say, "Seek first to understand and then be understood." So approach this conversation from wanting to understand them first, and then you get to hopefully, maybe,
Yeah.
tell them what's going on for you.
It's just being curious. And I think, in these fights, we learn so much about, or tough conversations, we learn so much about each other. And so if you go into it with like, why did you do this? Or why did you, that word why already kind of puts you at a defense. So if
Mhm.
I'm like, why did you already, even if I ask you, why did you choose chocolate instead of vanilla? You're
Yeah.
already like, oh, like, I don't know, like already instinctively.
We're
So
going back to the PTSD from the last episode, I see.
Yes, yes, but it's like, I think a better way to say this is, "Help me understand how you saw this," instead of, "Why did you do this?" Help me understand how you arrived at this decision. Help
Help
me
me
understand.
understand why you love vanilla frosting more than strawberry frosting, Brie.
Okay, strawberry can just I feel like fruit flavors can just get so fake, you know?
That's so true.
And so if I'm gonna have my fake ass sugar why am I forgetting the word? Frosting, then I'm gonna have it.
Yes.
Okay, sorry,
Well,
back to the
we
point.
love a little, like, recipe, a cocktail, if you will. What is,
Yes.
like, the crucial conversation recipe?
Mm. Okay, well, there's 4 parts, and there's 4 parts to the crucial conversation recipe. There's a framework called NEPA: Notice, Explain, Prescribe, and Assess. And this actually comes from fitness and training education, but this is what we're gonna bring it into. So, notice. I noticed this pattern. Did you also? This is leading with the curiosity. Like, say your boyfriend or partner came home and just like came home in such a huff and then just like threw their bags down and went and like ignored you and dismissed you, and you made a beautiful dinner and you're all excited to see them. That's the scene. Okay, so instead of being like, why did you do this, like,
"Hey,
how come you just
dickhead."
came home, yeah, hey dickhead, get back in here and redo that. If that was my
Yeah.
partner, that's what I would do. You put your stuff back on your arms and get back in there.
"Hey, dickhead, are you gonna come give me a kiss or something?"
See, that immediately diffuses the
Yeah,
situation.
that was a bad
For
example.
for the right person, honestly, that would work for me. I'd be
Yeah.
like, "You're right.
Yeah.
Boss me around." Okay, so here's how we started. I noticed this pattern. So, like, obviously, you wouldn't do this right in the moment. Maybe later on, you'd be like, "Hey, I noticed you came home really, with a lot of intensity, and I wanna understand what was going on for you and how I can support you in that." So instead of being like, "Why are you being a dickhead when you come home?" It's like, "I noticed this, and I know nothing about it because it's your world."
Yeah.
So then explain. Let them explain. And this is maybe their time to vent and,
Or
be
you can
vulnerable with
explain
you.
why you felt, triggered
Yeah,
by their barging in.
right. And maybe even you can say like, "I noticed this about you. What did you notice when you came home?" And that already turns it on them. So and then explain like, I kind of felt dismissed and I felt really small when you came home and just threw everything down. And I felt small and sad, but it didn't mean that I couldn't be there for you. And it felt like it put us against each other because then I felt upset, whatever.
And then the P is
Prescribe. So they'll be like, okay, this was an obstacle. Now what's the solution so this doesn't happen again? Right? You come into the conversation saying, I want to walk away with the understanding this is not going to happen again. So that's the solution part. So your partner says, you know what? If I have a really tough day at work, I'm going to take a few minutes in the car to breathe before I come home, before I walk through the door next time. Agreed. Amazing. And then we assess. So then tomorrow, it's not like keeping score. Give them some time to make this change and then assess. Okay, what happened? What's working? What's not working? And maybe tweak some things. I think this is also a really important time to like set up a follow up conversation. I know that sounds so weird and like businessy, but when you have conversations like this, like just having it already planned in advance makes them not feel like they're on this constant, um, you know, under a microscope all the time.
yeah. And I think this is a good example too because, let's say husband, partner does come home in a tizzy and throwing shit all over. They had a bad day. You're regulated, you're cool, you're maintaining your things. Maybe you say, "Hey, I noticed this." And he or they is like, "Are you fucking kidding me? You're really gonna start shit right now?" Right? Maybe
Yeah.
there's an explosion. Set and setting matter. That's not the
Yeah.
time to pursue this NEPA framework. That might you might, respond by saying, "Okay, I'm going to take a beat. I'm going to go for a walk. I'm going to let you cool off. I'm noticing some heated conversation between us. I'm going to step outside." And then you can come back. Hopefully that person has regulated themselves, you've regulated yourself, and then you can proceed.
Yeah. I want to talk a little bit more about the set and setting because it does matter. And location, emotional setting, and then the relational setting. So location, like you said, I mean, I wouldn't have these tough conversations. If it's a really big conversation, that's like the further you want to be from your home is like the harder the conversation is. So don't do this in your living room because then your home feels like a toxic place, feels like a
Mhm.
scary place. So I always think going for a walk or going for a drive are great times to do this because you're not forced to be looking head on each other, which can feel really scary for some people,
Yeah.
but you're facing forward and you're going somewhere. And when you're busy brained, being able to be like moving and going forward, it's really helpful for getting out the right words for some.
And I feel like being outside just gives you a little perspective too of like on the grand scheme of things, like this small tizzy is not that big of a deal, right? Like it is a
Mhm.
big deal because you are feeling these feelings, but on the grand scheme of things, it's going to be okay.
Yeah. Yeah, and you're going towards a place, like, it could be, we're just gonna go to the park, and even if the conversation means that, like, I'm not willing to hang out with you after and I need some space, fine, go for a walk and I'll pick you up after or walk home. I think there's it's nice to have options when you don't know what you're getting into.
Yeah.
And then emotional setting, like we talked about, like, are you regulated? Are you not regulated? And just being really, and if being really clear, if someone says, I want to have a hard conversation, and you're like, I just had the worst day ever, it's like, you know what? Either let me take some time and regulate and yes, or I'm really not in the mood. I'm freaked out. Can you just give me a little insight and then maybe we can work through it, at a better time? I think that could be helpful.
I think that personal responsibility is not always like it's not always prevalent, right? Like we always think we can handle more than we maybe can. Even if you come
Mhm.
home from a long day and your partner's like, "Can we talk? Like this thing is bothering me." You might want to be like, "Oh yeah, absolutely. Totally. Can do. Will do. Yep. Roger."
Yeah.
But deep down, you're so strung out that no matter what they say, you're on the defense. So I think it takes a really big awareness and responsibility to know that about yourself and to give yourself that space. Like, it's okay to say, actually, I think I need 5 minutes. Can you like give me some time? Or can we, talk about this in the morning? Great.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think
Absolutely.
attunement Self-attunement is like the highest form of self-love. Like, "Ooh, actually, let me check. No, I actually feel like shit. I'm gonna take care of that before I take care of you."
Yeah.
Right? It's the oxygen mask, and truly, I think, well, truly, I feel like emotions are like oxygen. Like it keeps us alive. We're always constantly checking and da da da. So if you can just give yourself the space to be like, you know what, I don't feel good, then you don't have to guess, and then you don't have to force it.
Yeah, and again, you can make it about them. Like, "Hey, I want to be the best, conversationalist and partner for you. I don't really feel like that right now. Can we pick this up in the morning? Can we do it after school? Whatever it is."
Okay, so, and again, we do love this is another cocktail series called The
Ooh.
Apology Recipe. And the apology recipe, if an apology is necessary, there is a recipe. We did an episode on this in our other conversation podcast, but there's really 4 steps to a great apology that is respectful. One, you take responsibility. You share what you know you did wrong. Two, or how you made an impact. Two, acknowledge the impact that you made on this person. Three, express regret, like share that you're remorseful, you know, and the feelings that came from taking that responsibility. And then number four, state what you'll do differently. So I'm sorry for coming home with so much intensity. I know that made you feel a little bit not at ease, especially when you cook this nice dinner for me. I am so sorry for how that affected you. And going forward, I'm going to take a pause for a couple minutes in my car before I come home to make sure that it's a safe place for all of us.
Yes. It's
That
short, it's not performative, it's not, "I'm sorry you felt that way." Nobody wants
right.
that. Nobody likes that.
And nobody deserves that because everyone's emotions are valid to them, whether it's like you crying over spilled milk. Well, that's how it felt for you. Let them have it, you
Yeah.
know?
Even if you
Yeah.
think they're ridiculous, you can table that and
Mhm.
acknowledge their feelings and just like you would want them to acknowledge yours.
Yeah. And I think especially accepting an apology is also is like something that can be talked about. Like when someone's like, okay, thanks. It's like, wow, I fuck you. I'm not I take my apology back.
Right, yeah, this is like a two-way street, right? Like,
Right.
you even if you are the quote unquote "victim" of this conflict, you
Mhm.
still have a part in the equation, so you have something to apologize for as well, right? For me,
Yes.
it's often getting defensive. I could
Yeah.
say, "I'm sorry, I got defensive. I understand that that makes you feel unheard." Um,
That
I
one's tough for you, huh?
it is, yeah, because my default is defense.
Right.
Um,
I love
so,
this. We're working
I
through
do
it.
feel remorse for making you feel unheard, and I will continue to try to approach our conversations with a level head.
Yeah. That was beautiful. And
Thanks.
it's short. It's just like, when you people I'm so sorry. No, no, no. It's like I don't want to hear it. So to reconnect after an apology, if you're the victim, it is important for you to reassure the other person that you're also agreeing to work on this as a team. You're
Mhm.
allowed to feel upset and you're allowed to still not feel healed or okay about the situation, but you should reassure the other person that you are in it. Because if you're not in it, that's the time to tell them. And that's when I would get messed up. Okay. So do don't do as I do, do as I say,
Yes.
or as we're working on. So, and there's also some connection building questions that I've actually gotten from Megan Philly, Marcus's wife, and she is the best. So, a couple one five reconnection building questions for you. I'm going a little rogue here, Kelsey. Okay.
Let's do it.
All right. One, what do you need most from me? This can come from the victim or the perpetrator. Either one, like, what do you need from me? Because after an apology, things are kind of icky, right? It's like, do we just go Netflix and chill? So maybe there's more conversation that needs to be had. Um, and so maybe they can say, like, I just need to know that everything's okay, that we're working on this together. Or I actually just need a little bit of space and I want to take 20 minutes by myself, and that is the Gottman kind of method rule. You can always take 20 minutes away from your partner after tough conversations, but no longer than 24 hours. So if you need to sleep at someone's house, like that's okay. You just have to be clear about that. And then number two, what's the thing you're most scared to ask of me or say to me right now? And
Deep.
sometimes after a tough conversation, I'm really afraid to tell you that I don't want to be sitting next to you right now and then I need to go run around the block for a second.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
So
shifting gears is so hard, especially when you're, like, rapidly going through this, like, emotion roller coaster, right? Like, before the
yeah,
conversation, you're pent up, you're, like, jazzed, you're full of fear, you're full of excitement, you're full of all these things, and then you get to the conversation, and then you're exhausted. You're like, "I
yes.
don't even know what I'm feeling."
Like, if you did the whole conversation in your head 47 times before you even had the conversation, you've already decided the conversation is gonna go exactly how you just anticipated it, and you're exhausted by
Yes.
that time. So
Yep.
then you can also ask, "How are we doing as a partnership? How do you feel we're doing right now?" If you feel like there's the apology was actually a good opening for a bigger conversation, like a relationship temperature check. I
Mhm.
find that tough conversations are actually super connecting if we allow them to be. So
Yeah.
just checking with the other person, like, can you share with me how you're feeling now? Or just like, how do you feel like we're doing in this relationship? Like, how are our values together?
Yes. I think it's so important to do, like, a temperature check, and this was, um talked about in that episode that you sent me was using temperature or distance to like establish things like what is your temperature now that we've had this conversation? Are you feeling warmer? Are you feeling colder? Are you feeling closer to me? Are you feeling more distant? Where are we at? That way you're establishing like, okay, like I'm feeling exhausted from everything we've talked about, but I'm also feeling closer to you. And I know that we will ultimately get back to our normal, but right now, I'm a little frazzled.
And just saying that, right? Like, if you have a tough conversation and the other person looks okay, and you're like, I should probably feel okay too, but you're like, not. It's like, keep sharing those things. And when you're already in a vulnerable moment, it's such an important opportunity to take advantage of because it's so rare that we find ourselves in those situations because we're always chasing the rainbows and butterflies. But the
Mhm.
reality is that relationships are made up of three parts: it's the good stuff, the rainbows and butterflies, the ruptures, and then the repair. And so couples who are the best at the repair are the ones that stick together.
I love
And
that.
I think it's important that repair and then getting back on the same page, you come into it with as much intensity, if not more, as the rupture. And the rupture has a natural level of energy to it.
And you don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing to try and grow. Like I said, like I am the avoider. I will shut down and pretend that everything's okay until I spill over. So you
Yeah.
don't have to be perfect. You just have to be willing and hopefully your partner is, the same level of willing as you. Um, do you have any last minute things before we do takeaways?
No, I was actually going to say it's probably time for takeaways.
So the takeaways are, I mean, aside from you don't have to be perfect, you just have to be willing and open. Notice what you're feeling: resentment, scorekeeping, rehearsed speeches. I'm like the notes app galley. So whenever I'm
Yeah.
feeling things, I decipher what I'm feeling by like writing it out. And for me, that's in my phone. It could be in a journal. It could be, venting through a friend. That's like do all those channels and then it's time to set the time for the conversation. So readiness also matters, right? Like part
Right.
of that, what I just said, is preparing you for the conversation. So getting you regulated, approaching from exactly what you want to say from a respectful and open place instead of this like, I'm totally going to dunk on him, right?
Right. Right. There's no winning in these tough conversations. It's working through, it's unraveling. And I think, like I said in the beginning, going into these conversations with just one tool can give you the little bit of confidence. And if it's going to be one tool, let it be the NEPA framework, like I talked about earlier. Even if you just take the noticing, that would be a great thing to start with. And I promise your tough conversations are going to be so much better. Um, Another one, just like the blamey phrases, like not like, "Why did you do that?" Or, "How come
I'm
you
sorry
oh,
that you,
I'm sorry that you feel," or like, "You always do this." We didn't talk about that one. "You always." It's like, that doesn't give the person the benefit of the doubt ever.
right?
And then apologize with like, respectfulness and take accountability, lead with I.
I'm going to add my personal takeaway because this is one that I want to work on when I do want to
I
talk
love
about something,
that.
which is the I need your help. Can we talk about this? I love that
Mm,
collaborative. It's not the we need to have a conversation or I'm feeling this feeling. Can we talk about it later? Because even saying that, like, I'm feeling this kind of instills like a little something in the other person, right? So
yeah.
instead of like approaching it from like, I have this feeling that, maybe has been festering in me for a while, I'm now saying, hey, I need your help on this thing. Can we talk about it after work?
I love that one, and honestly, I wanna try that as well. I think there's gonna be a lot of times in this new job where I'm gonna have to say some hard things, so, like, "Can
Totally.
we work through this?" Like, "I need your help, I want you on my team."
Yes. And above
So,
all, teamwork makes the dream work. You're not opponents. Your partner's trying to feel safe in the same space.
yes, and thank you for all the streams and downloads, and thank you for tuning in to the Overt Thinking podcast. We'd love to hear what is the toughest conversation you've had, and what helped, what worked, what didn't work.
What are you taking away from this episode? And if you found this episode helpful, share it with a friend, or even better, with the person you might need to have a conversation with.
And connect with us on Instagram at overt_thinking podcast, at Brianna Lamb, and at Kelsey Michelle.
And we will see
We
you
will see you
in the next
in the next
episode.
episode.